Coach, I saw that little sprint. Now, you usually reserve that for wins there, but the way that the attitude was on the sideline, the way that the defense in particular played tonight, it kind of felt like you won at least a little bit on the defensive side of things, despite losing 32-0 here tonight.
I mean, we talked about the beginning there, Tim, and we've mentioned the whole year, we're not really about moral victories, but when you look at our season and how it's progressed, I think a couple things that I talked about in the huddle tonight is we had to build on. We didn't give up a score in the last minute of the first half when they had the ball. So that was a huge victory for us as far as learning how to close the half. And then second half-wise, it didn't go the way we wanted. We thought we had a chance to put some points on the board, but obviously we didn't have a running clock for our first game all year. So, I mean, I think we accomplished some of the things that I'm sure walking in here, they thought it was going to be a little easier game than what we gave tonight, and that's okay. And our kids have something to build on for next year, and hopefully, you know, this is just a sign of what's to come. Unfortunately, maybe our best play at the end was our senior defensive end playing quarterback. I didn't even know that was happening, and all of a sudden I look and I thought Aaron Rodgers out there snapping the ball, and it was Jeff Mike. So it was kind of a cool way to end the season. I mean, all things considered, kids had a good time tonight, and we go home healthy, which is probably the best thing we can say when none of our kids had to see the trainer. So all in all, it's a pretty positive night.
And what was that message to your team as you gathered with them below the goalpost here tonight?
Pretty much what I just told you was my message. I wanted to end it positive. I mean, there's clearly some things we need to work on, and there's some dedication and things that need to be put in more in the off season than maybe we put in during the season this year. But as my message to them was pretty much what I told you. It was the two victories we had tonight. You look at how our season went, and I mean, easily if we go up a score before halftime, all of a sudden you got it in the 20s before halftime, and then the craziness can start, and then they feel sorry and the floodgates open, and we held tough. And I think you saw that they learned tonight that they could have been competitive with any team we played this year. Had we maybe had a few more kids at contact days and a little more, you know, participation in the weight room and listening to some of the things we're talking about. But I mean, that comes with a freshman-heavy team, and we know our team's clearly heavy on the freshman end and not kind of light on the senior end. So that kind of shows. I mean, the season when you rewind it back, that kind of leans to explain some of the problems we had. I mean, we did a lot of discipline this year that probably went unnoticed. I don't know how much you talked about it up here, but we had multiple games where kids were sitting for quarters or halves, and even tonight we had some kids that sat. So, like, there are little lessons we have to learn, and hopefully they learn from it as freshmen, and we don't have these problems when they're sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So, I mean, I guess that's kind of the biggest message that we kind of talked about too, about growing and being adults and not making any foolish mistakes that actually will, the next couple of weeks, it will halt some of their basketball season. So all in all, hopefully that message gets to them.
Now, you kind of touched on a little bit that 2021 spring season almost served as a wake-up call and kind of a catalyst towards a good 2021 fall season. How much are you hoping that kind of pops up for next season with this squad?
Well, there's some things we can't control. I know we might have a couple kids that are moving, is what it sounds like. So a lot of it's going to depend on the kids that we have to come back and how that fits. And there's a couple kids that we would have liked to play this fall that didn't join our team. So hopefully maybe a couple of those names pop in next year, and that would greatly help us. And you know, we would like to be up to that 22 to 25 range so we can get a JV program so the incoming freshmen don't have to play varsity football. So I mean, that's the big thing. If we can get that, I think, like I said, we have lots of positives to build on. Our kids did really well tonight. We came in here with a game plan. I thought, all in all, we worked real heavy on the offense actually the last 4 weeks, and the defense didn't get a lot of work, which as a head coach, it's a defensive coordinator, that's not ideal. But I think our kids, you could see a lot of the discipline that we had instilled. Baron Los probably had the best game of the season this year. Tonight he came up, made a lot of tackles from his cornerback position, and didn't let him get the outside on that side. So you noticed a lot of the long plays went the opposite side of the field once they realized they couldn't get outside him. But so those are things, are positives. And right now, a lot of those kids, that's just their athletic ability. So hopefully we can get in the weight room and turn some of that ability even better. I mean, hopefully we learn from, you know, our kids in the past that have dedicated themselves to it. You know, whether it's Marshall or the Jack Duffy group, we've had a lot of kids that have spent a lot of time in that weight room, and hopefully these kids will gravitate there as well, and it'll improve the program in the future.
Well, Coach, we thank you so much for the time. Each and every week you came up and you talked to us. We appreciate it, and we Thank all of our partners for helping us bring Gibraltar football to the airwaves this season. We hope